Hi, everyone. I'm Kim with Cowgirl Biz. We've got Katelyn here. I'm going to go ahead and start presenting so that we can share our screens with you, and we will get started. So let's see here. We got to share. Um, Okay, that should be the first screen. You guys see it with the cowgirl boot upside down holding her computer, right? Okay. All right, welcome to Cowgirl Biz Power Hour. We have so many fun things that we've been learning over the last few months with some of our dear colleagues, customers, friends that are making huge progress on their websites. We've also had lots of discussions inside our Facebook group. And so we wanted to come back to all of you and our new friends that may have found us. And this is perhaps your first time meeting us. We are Cowgirl Biz, and I'll tell you a little bit more about our history here in a second. Our goal is to have the Power Hour hosted every Wednesday around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And we are going to work through all kinds of fun topics, help you understand different things that you can work on with your business, tips and tricks, and all kinds of fun stuff. Super excited at the end of today's presentation. I'm going to introduce you to Lindsay and a new Shopify theme. In fact, there's two new Shopify themes that she worked on for us. But if you're interested in Shopify and a custom theme that's been created just for Cowgirl businesses, she has created these not just as a very simple template. She's actually created custom programming inside the templates that you're going to love. So hopefully, if you're interested in Shopify, you'll stay all the way to the end of the session and we will get started. Okay. Once again, I'm Kim. I'm the founder of Cowgirl Biz. We're going to share a little more of that history in a second. And we have Katelyn. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm Caitlin. I am founder and co-owner of Wildflowers and Barley, and I've been working with Kim and her team almost since the beginning. It seems like just trying to help everyone, be successful as a small business entrepreneur.
Excellent. All right. Let's see here. There we go. Our mission at Cowgirl Biz is to help cowgirl businesses showcase your unique products and build one-of-a-kind businesses. And a lot of you are making huge progress since we all met each other over the course of the last 8 months. Once again, we'll be sharing pieces and parts of those cowgirl businesses as we go through this. Our topics today are we're going to introduce you to our new toolkit area where you'll find content, tips, and tricks. We're also going to talk a little bit about the brand magic I call the brand positioning exercise. Then Katelyn's going to talk to us about Google Analytics and 4 metrics that you want to know to get started. And then, as I mentioned, we have new Cowgirl Biz Shopify templates for those of you that are in the e-commerce world and interested in Shopify. And even if you're not selling, she has designed the Shopify templates for those of you that might be artists or photographers and you don't necessarily want to sell in e-commerce. She also has created those so that you could use those as well. So more to come on that at the end. So who is Cowgirl Biz and how it all got started? Some of you have been here from the very beginning. In September last year, I launched a Facebook group. It was called it is called Cowgirl Entrepreneurs and Innovators. And we now have close to 10,000 members. It's been a fun journey. There's lots of inspiration, there's lots of support, there's lots of in search of types of collaborations that occur. We have product businesses looking for photographers. We have product businesses looking for sourcing. All kinds of fun things go on in that Facebook group. So if you're not in the group, you're more than welcome to join. It's a free group. Then in October, we launched the cowgirlbiz.com, and this is our overall platform that at the time in October started out as a directory for cowgirl businesses, but you're going to hear a little bit more about how it's grown and adjusted as we go forward. In November last year, we hosted our first collaborative event, and some of you on the call were in that. That was our Cowgirl Christmas Shop Hop. That was a lot of fun. And then in January, we began working on our trainings and teachings for businesses to learn how to grow. So in January, we launched our Biz Hub page on the website, and we'll talk about the online success score quiz that's on there, the brand positioning exercise, and some of the other topics that we've been teaching and will be teaching in the upcoming sessions of the Power Hour. In February of this year, we launched the Where Cowgirls Shop social media channels. And what this means is even though the foundation is on cowgirlbiz.com where the directory lives, we now have a set of social channels that are designed just for Cowgirl shoppers. So for those of you that are in our business directory and also want to promote yourself directly to the Cowgirl shoppers, you have that forum through our social media channels, in addition to being in the directory. In March, we did a revamp on the directory and tried to make it more clear on the different types of categories and ways you can search for businesses. We have 1,200 plus Cowgirl businesses in the directory. And then we launched a new marketplace that is been being tested, and we have various members of our Cowgirl businesses that are starting to put products into the shop, which is our marketplace on the cowgirlbiz.com. You can see it if you go to cowgirlbiz.com and then find the shop in the main menu. And that is very exciting because now if you have a specific product that you want to promote, it's not just that the shoppers can find you through the directory, but they can actually go into the shop and find your product. And some of you are taking advantage of that option and showing your products. We've got some great hats. We've got some amazing jewelry. We've got some fantastic skincare there. That particular section is also affiliated with our Facebook Lives that are starting. Well, we've had several teasing sessions that you can see on our YouTube channel, and our official season 1 of the Where Cowgirls Shop show, we're calling it, the season 1, kicks off on April 12th, this next Saturday. Miss Tori Boya will be in the Midwest Horse Fair area. Well, she'll be at the show, I should say. And she will be at the Ranch Ethic booth at 11 a.m. Central. So if you're going to be at the Midwest Horse Fair, be sure to check her out there. She will also be live streaming. So for those of you that won't be in attendance in person, you can join virtually through the live stream that will be hosted on the Where Cowgirls Shop Facebook page. In conjunction with what's happening on April 12th is we're starting a brand new, we're calling it a voting game. And really what it is it's a promotional opportunity for anyone in the industry that wants to showcase their products. We're going to have what we're calling the Best of Cowgirl Biz Awards. There's 9 official categories from all the way, I should say, from leather artisans to jewelry makers to hat makers, etc. And then we're going to add a 10th category for those of you that don't fit into any of those other categories, just to make sure everyone has a chance to participate. That event is virtual. It will start on the 12th and go through May 15th. And then at the end of that, we will have on our season finale of the show, we will share with you all of the various Cowgirl businesses that people adored and loved through that. So hopefully you'll check that out as well. All right, moving forward. So as we talk about business and what our different entrepreneurs and their businesses need to know and learn and want to know, we kicked off at the beginning of 2025 what we call our online success score quiz. And of the entrepreneurs that took this quiz, it's kind of interesting to see the stats of how it came out. And this quiz is still live. You can still take it. The overall average success score of our entrepreneurs is 47.9%. And we have the following categories that we were analyzing so that we could better determine how we could help all of you grow. In terms of understanding your target audience and feeling like you're finding the right audience who's actually purchasing your items and is converting a successful conversion on your online store. We have 57% that feel like they are confident that they're doing well with their target audience. We asked questions about the website buyer's journey. This can be anything from, is your homepage attracting them and keeping them on your homepage? Is it helping them get directed to where they want to go to purchase your products? And the scores in that area were 52.9%. In regards to brand positioning, this is a topic that is often confusing as to what it means, and we're going to touch on it here shortly. But understanding your brand positioning and understanding how you stand out and what you need to do to stand out better, that score came in around the 50.2%. The next area that we were asking questions, and there's only 10 questions in the quiz. It's not like a big long thing. You can do it in under 5 minutes, but it's just interesting to see where everybody was at. So the traffic sources, these questions were related to, do you feel like you're bringing in the right traffic, and do you feel like you are leveraging the various different traffic sources? This could be your Instagram, this could be your Facebook page, maybe it's Google, maybe you've done some work in your SEOs, your SEO work and your keywords. So that area is one of the lower scores, which is why we spent some time over the first quarter working on classes and courses related to SEO that you'll hear more about again as we keep going through our journey together. And then conversion strategies. This is a tough one for all of us. Conversion strategies are how well your audience, if you get them to your website, are you getting them to actually turn into customers? And that is a challenging topic across the board and something that we continue to see if there's ways we can help teach it and how we can all grow together. So that is currently the scores of those that took this survey in our first quarter were at 38%. Once again, if you want to take the quiz and haven't taken it, it sits at cowgirlbiz.com, and then it's in our Biz Hub area. All right. So for the content tips and tricks, if you go to the Biz Hub at the very top left-hand option, you'll see an option that says, would you like to generate 30 days of content in less than 5 minutes? Some of you have played with this tool we had programmed specifically for our audience last fall, and it is a free tool. You can go in anytime and run it, but please know it's basically a tool that is based off of ChatGPT, and it has been pre-programmed to understand a little bit more about the Western industry and all of you cowgirl businesses. So we guide you with the questions. There's 3 questions: describe the business and your key products and services, describe your ideal customer, and share any additional details. And it will spit out an idea list of 30 different ideas for your content. So it's a really fun tool, can help you brainstorming if you're feeling a little less creative in your day, but you want to get those ideas going. That's what this tool is designed for. Also on the left-hand side of the screen are 2 more free cheat sheets, if you will, on how you can use 10 ways that you can use ChatGPT or Claude to help you and prompt you with different things to help you in your business. Okay. We also have, as I mentioned, a brand new, what we're calling the Cowgirl Biz Toolkit. This is, in essence, a shop for new tools and templates. In the shop, you'll see, and this is brand new. We're just barely launching our toolkit shop. You'll see the Instagram playbook that Faith created for us. You'll see some Canva tools and tips, and this is where other things will live as we continue to add more tools and templates for you to purchase. We are trying to make it a wide variety of prices from, I think the lowest cost one is going to be around $9. The mid-range pricing is around $27. So these should be very affordable tools, templates, things like that. There may be, as we get more advanced classes and courses, you'll see the price points perhaps go up. But again, this is a new page for you to be able to find templates and things that can help you grow your business. Okay, so some of you took and did the brand exercise that we introduced. I think we introduced this late December, early January. This is an exercise that you can also find the link to on the cowgirlbiz.com Biz Hub. We call it the 7-figure marketing magic brand positioning exercise. And this is something that in the course of me being in corporate America and working at a large software company, I was the vice president of marketing. And our CEO brought in a 7-figure marketing consultant to help us position that particular software company in how to be different from our competitors and where we wanted to create our messaging to stand out in that particular industry. So even though it came out of a whole different industry, the foundational aspects of this exercise are applied to every single business. It's an exercise that can be done in approximately 1 hour. There are 5 steps. I recreated it here for our Cowgirl businesses to try and make it more specific to this particular industry. It's an exercise in understanding your competitors and also in understanding the brands that you aspire to, and it will guide you through the process. So please go check that out. It's free. You'll get a PDF. There's also should be links to when I taught this, I think back in January. And it's probably something we'll teach again coming up soon. But for now, for those of you that have not done it, it's something I highly, highly suggest. And we're going to go through why it can be such a huge tool for your success. Okay, so most on the right-hand side of the screen, most entrepreneurs think that branding is all about what we're used to in the industry and what we're used to doing with our livestock. Pick your logo, pick your colors, and you're all set. Just brand your business. Give it a look, give it a feel. And that is a huge part of it, but that's not what this particular brand positioning exercise is about. So yes, like I said, I call it wrong, but it's more a matter of that's important. It's kind of foundational, but really what brand positioning is all about is how do you stand out in the herd? So if you can imagine your herd of livestock and they all have the same brand, which is the one that you're going to find that stands out? And the same applies in all of our businesses. If you're a leather artisan, if you're a photographer, what is going to make it so that if let's say I am trying to decide who's going to take my horse photography with myself and our daughter as an example, I'm going to be looking at the websites. I'm going to be looking at the social media profiles. I'm going to be trying to figure out who understands what I'm looking for and who stands out as seemingly has a better business that might be better for my needs. The same applies in the Cowgirl jewelry market. The same applies in the Cowgirl leather artisan market. We have several of those businesses that worked with us over this last first quarter in specifically trying to understand and position themselves. So what's fun about the exercise is it takes you through a look at who are your competitors, what are they doing in their social media, what are they doing on their homepage. Then it takes you through an exercise of trying to understand how you can be different than the messages and the words that they use on their social media and website, and how you can determine what we call it your unique value proposition and your unique sales proposition, and how you utilize all of that to create your messages, your keywords, and really create the image of your business, not just from a visual standpoint, but from the entire experience of that customer landing on your website through checking out and the thank you email that they get or the thank you card that they get with the item that they receive. The entire thing is the brand exercise and positioning that makes you stand out. So think about your entire customer journey all the way through. And again, this exercise is meant to guide you in what you want to create that experience to be. I call it the secret weapon for business success. So if you haven't done the brand positioning exercise, highly, highly recommend it. And I'll look forward to guiding any of you that want to DM me with your results or questions about it. I love working with all of you on this particular subject because I believe very passionately that it can make a huge difference in your business. Okay, next we're going to turn this over to Katelyn. I'm going to do a little introduction of her and then she can add to it or augment. Again, I met Katelyn last fall as part of the Facebook group that we started. And I think, when did we first have you? I think we started having you work with our businesses this January, if I'm not mistaken. And that's when I came to know her not only as the co-owner of Wildflowers and Barley, which she'll explain what that is again, but she's an entrepreneur of both a retail store, which those of you that have had those or are considering it, they are in and of themselves very challenging, but also an online store. So her online store is on Shopify. So she also has a lot of Shopify knowledge. And then as we were going through the course of we called it the Cowgirl Biz Rodeo course that we taught in January and February, I come to find out that Katelyn is Google certified. So as we were digging into Google Analytics and the Google Search Console and all these fun things, it was like, wow, you're right here in our own group and you already know all this stuff. So we're going to be teaching more about Google Analytics as we go forward. But for today's purposes, Katelyn is going to share with you some of the top metrics that we think are very important to get started. So go ahead, Katelyn.
All right. Thank you for that introduction, Kim. Yeah, so in terms of Wildflowers and Barley, it's actually my second business that I've opened, and we are a custom hat business. Essentially, is that's like mainly what we do. We specialize in hat burning, so and then we specialize in DIY events where we actually teach other people how to do hat burning, how to design their own hats, putting it together, all of those things. So we of course have our online store. We do wholesale, and then we do a lot of events where we travel and make hats at other places. And we have a brick and mortar where people can come in and make hats as they see fit. And then in terms of, yes, being Google certified, I actually got Google certified sometime last year, I think, maybe the year before that, mostly because I really love data. I enjoy data. If you don't know, I actually have my degree in biochemistry. Like, that's how much I love data. I love science and data, and applying that to an e-commerce business is something that I'm very passionate about. So we're going to talk about 4 different metrics that you can find in Google Analytics. Or if you have a Shopify store, some of these will also be in there. So the first thing that we want to talk about here is conversion rate. And that is when someone actually makes a purchase on your website. So a good conversion rate, right? The average conversion rate is actually just 3%, which is not a lot. So that means if you have 1,000 people coming to your website, about 30 of them are going to make a purchase. And that's why everyone always pushes like website traffic. They talk about things like bounce rate, because the more people you get to your website, the more likely you're going to get someone who is going to make a purchase. This is something you can find in Google Analytics, and I think on the next slide, maybe or 2 slides, we'll show you how you can find that.
And let's just reiterate, this is something that I also learned in my e-commerce journey. It's kind of hard to realize, or when you don't realize, I should say, when you don't know that this metric exists, you often have gone to the extent as an e-commerce store owner where you're so proud of your products and you're so proud of how they look on the website, and they're not selling, and you can't figure out why are they not selling. And then you come to realize, oh, it's a traffic issue. It has nothing to do with my amazing products. It's a fact that I don't have enough people coming to my site. So this is one of those things that once you realize this and you know what your site visitors and traffic is, then it's easy. Well, easy is not the right word, but you get it. Then the point becomes not so much trying to create new products and make sure they're as fantastic as the previous products. Now the challenge becomes, how do you get more site visitors so that you can have more sales? So for example, you can see the numbers. If that 1,000 was 10,000, the 3% still exists, then you're up to 300 sales. So once you realize that traffic is probably your bigger challenge than your product creation, then it helps you, guide you in what to focus on as you grow your e-commerce business. All right.
Yeah, that is exactly true. Okay, so part of traffic, right? Part of your sales is going to be sessions. And this is probably going to sound like a lot, right? A good starting point for sessions is 5,000 a month or 167 a day. So a session is essentially when one person is on your website, going through it, looking at products, looking at the about you section. A session is essentially from when they enter your website to when they leave your website. That is one session. So you really, really, really want to try to get as many people to your website as possible, clicking through and looking at things. This is just one of those, I think we've all heard it a lot, but the average person needs to see something about 7 times before they buy it. So you need to get someone to have 7 sessions on your website before they're even going to try to make a purchase. So again, this is going back to that 3%, right? If you are not having the sales that you want, you need to look at your sessions and try to figure out like how many people are coming back to your website. How many people are, they've been there for one time and now they're coming back a second time and now they're coming back a third time, because that's going to matter in the long run. Go ahead and do the next. Okay, bounce rate. You've probably heard about bounce rate. You're probably like, what does it mean? Why does it matter? So bounce rate is when someone lands on your website and then like immediately leaves. Like they come in, they go, oh, that's not what I was looking for, and they leave. So a good bounce rate is actually higher, anywhere between 26 to 40%. If you're in that range, that's a good bounce rate. It seems like a lot, but that's okay. If you're not sure where to find your bounce rate in Google Analytics, there is this super handy search bar that you can just click on, type in bounce rate, and it'll bring it up. So what you see down there, that's the bounce rate of my website, 31.8%. We're right in the good zone. So if you're over 40%, then you want to start looking at, well, why is it so high? Is it because your SEO is bringing in the wrong kind of people? They're coming in thinking they're looking for something else, and then they show up in your website and say, oh, wait, this isn't what I want. And then they leave. What is it? Why are people leaving your website so suddenly? And then if your bounce rate is like below 26%, then you've got like a unicorn and you don't want to do anything else. Like you've got it down. Okay. And here we're going to talk about, you probably hear things like traffic versus sessions and what is the difference. So traffic is more broad. It is all of the things that happen on your website. So you can look at like the general happenings, right? What is the average person doing on your website? Where are most people landing on your website? What are the actions that they're taking? Versus a session is where you can follow like a single person through every single page that they click on and what it is that they're doing on your website. So when you're in Google Analytics, if you are on looking at your screen, you're going to look at the left-hand side. That's what this blue box here looks like. And you'll see this thing down here called acquisition. So that is where your traffic is coming from. Who is bringing people to your website? So if you click on that and then click on overview, then over here in the brown box, you'll see something that looks like that. So that will tell you what other websites are pushing people to your website and maybe where you want to focus on getting more people. So in this instance, this was my latest one from today. I just took a screenshot. We put it on there. So I have Google has driven 112 people to my website. There's a couple of different ones for Facebook, and that could be something like maybe they're in my bio clicking on it, or maybe there was a link that someone shared and they clicked on it. So that's why there's going to be different ones for Facebook. C-Bar-C Expo, that's the rodeo that we just did with actually one of our other members here in Cowgirl Biz. So us being on their website has driven people to our website. People are searching for us in Bing, and then I'm out of Springfield, Illinois. So Visit Springfield is like a local like website that tells people what they can do in the area. So if you go to Google Analytics, you look at your acquisition, you say, oh, wow, okay, they're driving a lot of traffic for me. That's great. Maybe I need to work more on driving traffic from Instagram, because you don't see anything from Instagram on here, right? Maybe you want to work on driving traffic that way. It's just a really good tool to see where are people coming from and what's working in terms of your marketing efforts.
Okay, before we go into the Shopify stuff, let's pause for a minute and open the discussion. We're on Zoom because this allows all of you to ask questions. So before we move into the Shopify part of our presentation, we are opening it up. If you would like to ask a question, feel free to unmute yourself and ask away.
actually do have a question, Kim. As far as Google Analytics, where do we find that exactly? Like, I have a Shopify.
You have to connect it. So Google Analytics is a tool. It's a free tool from Google. You can just type in Google Analytics or GA4 and it'll bring you to it. They will show you how to connect it to your Shopify. And then so it then starts pulling data from your website, and it's just a separate analytical tool that you can use.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And the challenging thing with Google is there's Google Analytics, then there's also Google Search Console, and those two are actually hand in hand. It's highly recommended that if you're just beginning with Google, you set up both of those two things. Google Search Console will help you understand some of the keywords and what people are searching for. And then the Google Analytics goes into a lot more depth on your traffic, your acquisition, your events, which we're not even going to drill into events today. We will have a much more in-depth session on Google Analytics coming, but hand in hand, Google Search Console and Google Analytics are two of the Google properties that are definitely worth setting up and linking. And there are more that as you get a little more educated in your Google journey, and especially if you're doing e-commerce and trying to build catalogs and all kinds of things related to that, there is something called the Google Merchant Center. Once again, these get a little more in-depth. Some of you that are on the call may be more educated in all of that, but if you're just getting your feet wet and getting started, start with Google Search Console and making sure that is set up and linked, as well as Google Analytics. Okay, any other questions on the brand exercise, on the content generator tool, on Google Analytics? Any other questions that you guys want to ask today? And or if any of you have something that you want us to specifically teach about, we'd love to hear that also.
Where was the content generator tool at?
If you go on cowgirlbiz.com and you go on the Biz Hub or /Biz Hub, it's right at the top on the left-hand side. You'll see the link to click onto the content generator tool.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or topics you want us to cover in future power hours, we're calling them? Okay, awesome. Before I introduce Lindsay, I think, Lindsay, are you on? I think I saw you come on.
I am.
There you are. Okay, I hear your voice. I'm going to have Katelyn, since she just spoke, share what she loves about Shopify as a way to start to introduce you, and then we'll move into the Shopify stuff. So Katelyn, to give Lindsay a heads up, not a heads up, but to give our audience a little bit more info to save Lindsay some extra words that she loves it too. But anyway, as a Shopify user, why don't you share a little bit about what you love about Shopify, Katelyn, and then we'll have Lindsay get started.
Yeah, so one of the main things I love about Shopify is they are, I'm going to answer this question in the chat real quick. So a good bounce rate. So if yours is 10.3%, then your bounce rate is really good. You want it to be in between 26 to 40%. Okay. Shopify. So I like Shopify because it's easily integrated into pretty much everything that we as business owners use already. So like Facebook, Instagram, Google Analytics. They have, when you have their website, you also get a free POS system to use. And when I say free, I mean like you can check people out on your phone for free. They do have hardware that comes with that. And then like the software itself is free, which is really nice. They integrate with things like Fair. So if you're buying from Fair or if you're selling on Fair, those both will integrate with Shopify, making it really easy to use. And then they really do a lot in terms of their own coding to help you as a business owner like drive people to your website and make your website easy to use. So I think it's really easy to add products. I think it's easy to make the web page or make the website look how I want it to look. You can edit colors and fonts, and it's really just, in my opinion, the easiest platform to use, especially if you're not someone who actually knows coding. So that's why I like it. And I think the cost to use it is also really affordable in terms of what they offer you.
Mhm.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Again, it's Kim. I'll reintroduce myself in conjunction with this section of our presentation. I am going to be introducing you to a dear friend that I have known for 15 years or more. I went back in my email and searched all the way to the beginning, and it kept saying there's more emails, there's more emails, there's more emails. And it took me all the way back to circa 2010. It could have possibly been a little earlier, I'm not sure, but I have worked with Lindsay for that length of time. Years ago, it was on all kinds of different businesses that we did related to blogs or e-commerce or things like that. I won't go into all the details because we could sit here for a whole nother few hours going through all of that. Anyway, Lindsay is a dear, dear friend. She's also extremely talented in the web world. She started Macaroons and Mimosas. I'm going to let her introduce that here shortly, but she started it a long time ago. That is the main website, and I actually need to get you guys in the chat once I stop sharing the screen. I'll get you the exact link to the templates that she's created for us. But before we do that, I also want to say that if you do end up on her Etsy store, again, it's called Macaroons and Mimosas, you'll see that she has sold over 55,000 sales of website templates, designs, all kinds of stuff. This girl rocks and rolls the web, and she is very good. And so I was teasing her because although the rodeo that she attended this last December, and you guys are all going to be jealous if you have never made it to the NFR, I personally have not yet either. But I asked Lindsay, had she ever been to a rodeo? And she goes, well, no, but crazy enough, I'm going to the NFR. So her first rodeo experience happens to be one of the opening nights at the NFR, and she shared some pictures with me, which was fantastic. So even though that's her first rodeo in the Western industry and that Western world, so to speak, websites are not her first rodeo. Those are things that she's been working on for a long time, and it's anywhere from WordPress to Shopify, and she'll share some other things, but specifically, we're going to talk about Shopify today. And what happened is I want to say it was November, December, I contacted Lindsay and I said, I've got this Facebook group of cowgirl entrepreneurs that's growing like crazy. And these ladies need help with their e-commerce and their Shopify. And I said, do you want to work on some templates that could help them? And she said, well, let me think about it and work on it. And here we are. Everything always takes a little longer than you hope, but I'm
Yes.
super excited to share. Have you meet Lindsay in person. She's joining our call today. Have her share with you the first two templates, and she has another one in the works. I'm going to share one more screen here, and then we're going to stop sharing and let her share her screen. These are the first two templates, and they are available. I'm going to make sure in the chat you have the specific link so that you can give Cowgirl Biz a little credit when you make your purchase with Lindsay. She'll go through a little more details of what these are when she shares her screen. But do you want to talk real quick before we leave this screen at a high level, Lindsay, before you drill into them? Actually, why don't you start with introducing yourself and Macaroons and Mimosas? Why don't you start there?
So my name is Lindsay. I've been a graphic and web designer for, I don't know, like 16 years now. So I think Kim and I met as soon as I got done with school. So yeah, but I have pretty much used every single platform since then to create websites on. So from Magento to WordPress and now Shopify. And I also do branding and logos, business cards, all that kind of stuff as well.
Awesome. All right. So high level, and then we'll let you share your screen and drill in and actually show a little bit of this. But high level, tell us a little bit about these two templates.
So I basically wanted to create some templates that had different feels to them. And I also wanted to put features in them that you don't necessarily have to purchase on as a third-party app. Because while Shopify's templates are amazing, and Shopify is amazing, a lot of the features that my past and previous customers were wanting, they were not included in themes. So it was all add-on applications, which is fine. Some things, because they're so robust, you need an app for that, because it's to code it inside of a theme, it would just be too much. But some of the things that they were asking for, it didn't make sense why they were purchasing the apps and spending monthly fees on those apps when it could be easily integrated within the theme if it was something very simple that they needed. So I basically took all of their feedback and everything like that, and I tried to stuff those features in these themes. So you're not needing to pay for monthly fees on certain things that you want. So for instance, like cart upsells. So when somebody adds something to the cart, you can then try and upsell your customer on, hey, this will go really well with this. So like, let's say you have, and I'm just using this as an example, a candle, and they add the candle to the cart. Well, some of the things that you can upsell them on are, you know, wick cutters, different, you know, snuffers, different things like that. So that's one of the features that I really wanted to include. The other feature was like free shipping cart notifications. So if you are offering like free shipping or anything like that, it will actually show them how much more they need to add to the cart in order to get the free shipping. And then if you decide that you don't want to do free shipping, because I know shipping's becoming very expensive, but you wanted to give them like a free gift with purchase, you can switch it from free shipping to free gift. So this way you're not necessarily giving away the shipping cost, but you may be throwing something extra in there with them if they spend X amount. So it's like little things like that. One of the big things that I was working on the past couple weeks is integrating shoppable blog posts. So if you create a blog post, you can now, with these two themes that I have, set it up where you put your product directly inside of the blog post. So as they're scrolling down through the blog and they're reading it, if you're trying to sell them on a certain thing, like something for their horses or something for whatnot, they can easily click that button and add it to the cart directly from the blog. It's not something that they have to scroll down to the bottom of the blog and then you have the products down there, because you can do that, but integrating shoppable blog posts is not really something that's done on Shopify. So it's like those little details that I really tried to focus on to add to these themes so that you are getting a more robust design.
Perfect. All right. I'm going to stop sharing and then we'll let you go ahead and start sharing.
Okay. So let's see. Did that work?
I had to say allow, which I did. So hopefully it lets you.
Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Perfect. All right.
Okay.
So just so you know what we're seeing, I've got your Chrome up, and on the left tab that's not open is the Western Kids Emporium, then the Cowgirl Charm theme, and then the Saddle Sage theme.
Yep, perfect. So after you log into Shopify, these themes are also really easy to customize. So inside of Shopify, it allows you to go into these different sections of the themes. And let's say that there is a section that you want to edit. All you would have to do is go to that section, and then you can click on it, and then you can go over here and you can essentially change the graphics out. So like, let's say you wanted to use this photo, it would swap it out. If you wanted to change the text, so let's say you wanted this collection, instead of it being bestsellers, you wanted it to be like new arrivals or anything like that. You can then change that out. You can change the button so that it's linking to the collection for your new arrivals. And then when you scroll down, oh no, right here. Up at the top, you're going to replace that collection from bestsellers to new arrivals. And then it changes all of those photos. So it's very easy to customize on this back end. And let's say you wanted to take this top banner section, and I'm just going to use the Western Kids Emporium. I am just going to kind of copy and paste into here to just kind of show you, so you can go in here and change the wording. You can change the font size if you want the font size to be bigger. You can change the color. So if you want the color to be different, you can then also go in here and change the video. So let me open this in a new tab and grab. So with the video files, they're handled a little bit differently with Shopify. So all you do is grab the link there once you've uploaded the video to the files area. And then all you're going to do is go in here, paste it, and it changes the video out. If there is a section that you don't want, so like, let's say you're like, well, I don't want this video banner to be this main section when I first enter the site. You can, so to see if you like it or don't like it, all you have to do is shut that off. If you completely want to remove it, all you have to do is click delete, and this section completely gets removed. You can also drag and drop sections around. So let's say you wanted to take this bottom section down here and move this all the way up to the top, and you wanted this to be there. If you make a mistake, all you have to do is use this back arrow, and it'll take you back through all of the changes that you've made. And then, so essentially, once you're done, you just click save. So let me just update that, hit save. And then all you're going to do is view your site. And then you can actually see the live site. And then also with the themes, I'm trying to see, there we go. There is a mega menu feature. So as you add multiple collections to it, you can sort them out. And then you can also have images over here that link to specific like categories, collections. If you're running a sale, you can have it linked to it. If you have a brand new product launch, you can do that. And then the shoppable blog post that I was referring to looks like this. So as you are scrolling down through the blog, you have your item, and then they can automatically add it to the cart from the blog post. So then the cart is over here. And then this is what I was talking about, the cart upsells. So once they add something to the cart, you can then sell them on the product that is then added to the cart. And then all they would have to do is click add to cart. It would add it to the cart. So that's, I mean, it's very, very easy to edit these themes. Like I said, both themes are kind of a different layout and design overall. So this other theme that we have is a little bit more fun. It has more graphics. So like this particular theme has these banner graphics that rotate instead of the video. Then it has the featured collection that scrolls through the products rather than it being like this style collection. So,
and keep in mind that even though the colorations that is currently shown in each template, in this case, the pale colors, those
everything's editable.
Showing an example of how easy it is to change that if you did not want that.
Okay, so for instance, let's say with this theme, you wanted to change like the announcement bar color here. All you'd have to do is go up here, and let's say you wanted to do like a blue, you could do a blue. You can change the text color. So let's say, I mean, I wouldn't use these colors, but I'm just showing you for reference. That's very bright.
We just woke everybody up in the room.
Yeah.
That's
so you can go through and actually change the colors so that they better fit. And then the same thing with like the navigation. So like, let's say you wanted to make the navigation blue with the orange, which is, I mean, let's do black or not orange. Oh my gosh, yellow. Sorry. So, and then like you have like the drop down too. So you can change the navigation hover color. So like as you hover over it, the drop down. So like, let's say you want to do black for the drop down. You need to change the text. So they are very, very easy to go in here and edit the colors so that they can fit with pretty much any brand. And then as you're editing, you do want to remember to save the changes, because if something happens, then you have to go back through and, you know, basically redo all of what you did. And then all you'd have to do is refresh, and then this is the live version of it. So you still have all of that. And then you can also go in here and change the typography. So let's say you wanted to use something a little bit bigger and bolder for the headlines. You can go in here and change that. Select that. Let's say the body copy, you wanted to change it to something else. And I mean, there's tons of different options in here. So as you scroll through, you'll basically find that there's, you know, all these options that may fit with your brand and whatnot. And then once you like those particular fonts, you just click select, and then you can save it and then refresh, and then everything gets changed. So you'll see that all of the fonts throughout the whole theme changed to those fonts.
excellent. Okay. So,
and I mean, I can get a lot more into.
Yeah, I know we could go into a lot. There's a lot here, and there's a lot more that she hasn't shared, and I'm going to have her talk about a couple things. First of all, let's talk about the fact that this is, most of you that have worked in Shopify probably understand this, but for those of you that might be new to Shopify, what a template is, I'm just going to clarify this again. A template, think of it as the paint color, the wallpaper, how you've got your artwork on your walls. All of the foundational products are your products inside your site. So right now, all we're controlling is how those products are displayed, where they're displayed, what color are your fonts, and your, you know, do you want the banner at the top, like she said? Do you want your new arrivals underneath it? So keep in mind that when she talks about a template, it's how those products and where those products display. It's not specifically dealing with the products at the product level. And you can clarify what I'm saying, Lindsay, but I know that that's important.
So inside of Shopify, you have your products and you have all of your collections. So as you upload a new theme or change themes, it doesn't actually mess with anything to do with your products, your collections, inventory, any gift cards, any settings that you have in the back end of Shopify that you've already set up. Installing a new template does not affect those. Now, you may have to do a few little tweaks to some of like your menu, so like your navigation. But other than that, once you upload the theme and install it, it will actually take the effect and it'll take all of your products and plop it into this layout and design. So this is more of like a shell, or, you know, and then all of your products kind of just fall right in here.
Okay.
And like I said, that there's different sections. So if you don't need this particular section right here, then you can delete it. Or let's say you want to do 3 different sections going down. You want to do like new arrivals, our best sellers, and like, you know, another collection. You can actually go in here and duplicate these sections by clicking on them. And then you go over here to the corner. And all you're going to do is duplicate the section, and see how it duplicates. So you can duplicate it as many times, and then you can switch out from new arrivals to, let's say, you know, sale. You can replace that with your sale. And these are pulling from the back end. So that's why every single product that you have in here, it's already going to show up.
Nice. So that's all the sale items that have already been marked in your sale category. Okay.
So, and I do want to note this. So as you're working on this screen right here, things might look a little bit funny like this because Shopify is only giving you this little area to view it because it has all of these editing bars on the side. So you can also click on full screen, and that allows you to view the actual screen without those editing bars. And then there's also a mobile mode. So if you put it in mobile mode, you'll get to see what it looks like on your phone, even though this is not 100% how it's going to look. Just because of the way Shopify works with the screen, it will look slightly different on your phone. So it won't have as many gaps in these areas and whatnot, but this just gives you a general idea, just kind of like this, how this isn't completely how it looks when you look at it full screen, like on live view, just because of the way that they set these parameters right here.
Okay. Just for the sake of time, and we're going to stay on as long as people want to stay on, but for the key information that we want to pass along, can you bring up that page? Do you have the page handy of where they're purchasing this? I just put it in the chat.
Yeah, it's this page right here.
Okay. So this is the page that I have in the chat that you guys can find. And if you purchase from this page, Cowgirl Biz gets a little bit of a kickback, which is fantastic. We would appreciate that. But anyway, more importantly, this is where you're going to find the ones that Lindsay has built for the Cowgirl world. Scroll down. These templates, let's talk about cost. So go ahead and talk about your cost of what that is that's showing there, the 135 versus the install or not. So let's talk about that.
So the base template is $135. So that gives you the template files. It gives you any editable graphics or Canva designs that might be with the template. It also gives you access to my video tutorials library. So you don't need to purchase an install. I provide you with lots of different videos on how to, from step 1, how to actually install and set up the theme. I go into how to set up a basic product. I also go into how to set up your collections. And some of these things are brief because setting up a product and collections is more on the Shopify end versus theme. But I understand that some people need a little bit of guidance on that because they might not have a Shopify store. So I also go through how to set up your navigation and how to basically go through and edit different sections on the theme, how to set up the shoppable blog posts, like, and each video that I create, I break down as well. So when you get access to the README PDF file that comes with the downloads, there will be a link in there to the video tutorials library. And when you click that link, you'll enter the password, and then you'll see each video has a title, and then in parentheses next to it, it'll have like 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And I did that so that you kind of know how much time to account for to sit down and watch the video. I don't believe that there are any videos over 10 to 15 minutes because I tried to break them down. But I basically give you all the tools to set up and install it. Now, with that being said, if you run into any problems, I am always available through email. You can email me anytime. I am happy to help. And then if you do decide that it is overwhelming, or that you just don't have time, or it's not something that you really personally want to do yourself, I offer installation options as well. And I have 2 different options for the install. I have a basic install, which essentially uploads the theme, the demo content, setting up a basic navigation. The site will look exactly like the demo. And then I have an advanced installation where I will set everything up like the demo, and then you provide me with all of your text, images, your URLs to your social media, and I basically set up the site for you. And all you have to do is hit launch.
Great. Let's scroll down to the bottom of this screen. There's a couple more things to talk about. Ladies, as Lindsay said, she's got, actually go up just a little bit, sorry, up right there. Before I touch on some of these things, specifically the video setup tutorials that she just mentioned, there are so many that she has available to help you. And one of the things that I wanted to get you the link for, and I'll try to get it and put it somewhere, is she has a 7-day free, it's free. If you find it, I don't know where it is, but
I can put it on this page. I'll update it after.
That would be great. So she has a 7-day get started with Shopify email. Like if you
like
go
a
in,
mini,
go ahead and explain what it is, because it sounded fantastic.
So it is completely free. And essentially what it is it's a course that walks you through how to set up your Shopify in 7 days. And it goes from, day one, okay, let's set up your Shopify account, get your URLs linked, everything like that. Day 2, we're going to go ahead and upload our templates. And it may not be day 1, day 2. I'm just kind of saying like what. So it'll be like day 2, upload your theme template, go in here, update your colors, update this, add your logos. The next day, we're going to get nitty gritty into actually updating all of the text, updating all of the photos and everything like that. And basically the next day after that, it just kind of goes through the things that you may not realize that you needed to do, such as setting up your checkout, making sure your invoices look presentable, setting up your basic SEO, and I'm not full robust, but making sure that you do have your title and your meta and just the basic things that Google is going to search for. Making sure that when you send somebody your link inside of a text message or a DM, that your logo shows up on there, or whatever graphic that you want is showing up on that link that you send. So it's a lot of the ins and outs on the back end stuff that people tend to overlook when they're starting a Shopify, or even some people who've had a Shopify for a while. It's kind of like giving you the steps on how to set everything up so that it will make you ready to launch. So the mini how to set up your Shopify is not really based on my themes. It's based on what you need to do to get the Shopify store up and running.
Perfect. Okay. We'll scroll to the bottom, make sure we didn't miss anything we need to talk about. So these are the features that she has created inside that's what makes her theme different than anybody else's. So quickly go through
And well, so inside of this, so here are some of the features that are already installed within the theme. So over here, this is where the add to cart, like your free shipping is. And then you can also change it to like your X amount away from a free gift. And then it basically includes all of these different features already inside of the theme. So you have like your blog filtering, you have, you know, the cart upsells, the slide out cart. There is also a built-in link in bio page, so you don't have to use Linktree or whatnot for that. And I do have a video that goes over, you know, how to set that up and everything. And then you have like your quick add to cart buttons, which are essentially, I believe it's on this one right here. View. So it's these buttons right here that are like quick add to cart. Yeah, so you have like live inventory status. There's also like personalized features in here. So like, let's say you sell, you know, t-shirts or mugs or anything where people have to personalize it with their name. All of that stuff's already kind of built into the theme.
Okay. We have some questions in the chat. Before we answer those real quick, talk about, you told me that there's a special Shopify deal going on right now. Do you know if that's still going on?
Yeah, so if you don't have Shopify, you can sign up for Shopify. I believe they give you 3 days free. And then it's $1 a month for the first 3 months. And then I want to say after that, it's around, it starts at like $20 a month.
Okay.
So, and giving that 3-day free plus the $1 a month for the first 3 months, it's allowing you 3 months to set up your theme, set up, like upload all of your products, set up your categories and get everything going. And you're only spending that $3 for 3 months.
Fantastic. So, okay. So one of the questions from, another Lindsay on our call says, I love your themes. How do we get one if I'm already using WordPress?
So if you're already using WordPress, Shopify and WordPress are completely different. So there are 2 different platforms, and the way you would essentially need to create a Shopify website or Shopify account, you would then need to set everything up on Shopify. There are features that allow you to download, if you already have all of your products and categories and collections and everything like that, any blog posts and whatnot that you already have on your WordPress, you would basically have to port them over from WordPress onto Shopify.
And again, we're not going to go too much more into detail because those are some more in-depth questions, but hopefully that gives you a high level. The second question is, what is the cost for you to create a logo, general branding to get started?
So I do offer on my website, I have a ton of like ready-made logos. That if you find something here that you like, essentially what I do is take the design and I update it with your business name. I include a color change and I can remove graphics at no extra cost. If you do a font change, then it's tailoring the logo, so it would be a little bit more. But I also offer custom logo services. So my custom logo services start at $250. And then I do also offer custom Shopify websites as well, which they are completely based on, you know, your brand, your business, like what your goals are and everything like that. So I do have a whole section on custom designs, and then I have a whole section on like ready-made designs as well.
Fantastic. Okay, we are going to open this up for questions and then prepare to wrap up. So questions during this section of our presentation, we'd like to keep related to Lindsay and Shopify. Anyone want to ask any questions? Anyone want to request any specific topics related to Shopify that we teach in the future?
I'm interested in marketing in general. It seems like the first quarter of this year, I spent a lot of money on marketing. I'm trying to up my game. I'm trying to increase foot traffic. I'm trying to make those sales, and it's super hard, especially being a maker that I don't mass produce anything. So my items cost more. It takes me longer to produce them. So just marketing in general and how to move the inventory that you do have, even when it's not a lot.
Okay, we will note that and see what we can come up with our combined network of both teachers that have worked with us, as well as maybe I have some ideas for who else we can pull in to think about that. Anyone else have any questions or requests for future topics or questions about today's presentation? Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for joining us for our first Power Hour. Lindsay, I'm going to have you stop sharing, and I'm going to share one last screen, which is, if I can, let's see, share. Hang on. Where did my Canva go? All right. This is our next Power Hour. This is the calls that we are currently putting in place. Again, we're targeting Wednesday afternoons around 3 p.m. Eastern. Next week, we're going to talk about target audience discovery. Katelyn Klos will be back on with us to talk about that, as well as Faith, who some of you are enjoying Faith. She has a whole presentation already on our YouTube channel that is mastering Instagram growth. And she also comes on every Friday on our YouTube channel for what we're calling Fridays with Faith. She has Instagram tips that are under 5 minutes. Some of them are under a minute. So it makes it super easy to keep in tune with some ideas for growing your Instagram. Anyway, she is also going to join us next week and specifically dig into understanding your audience analytics related to Instagram. Then the following week on April 23rd, we're going to share a little bit more about all the Canva tips and tricks and toolkits that we've added into our new toolkit shop. Tori is also going to join us. Tori is our co-host on the Where Cowgirls Shop show, as is Faith. And Tori also handles our social media at Cowgirl Biz. And we're going to talk about tools and trackers that she uses, along with those of you in our group and some of the tools and trackers that you've shared with us. And we've also created some that we want to introduce to you as well. So that's coming on April 23rd. April 30th, for those of you that are wholesalers, we have a really fun session planned. I got acquainted with Laura Ingalls this morning via a phone call. She's been in our group, and she had responded to Katelyn a few months back when Katelyn inquired about how to prepare for a wholesale show. Laura had shared that she works closely with WESA, and she is the mentor for new exhibitors that exhibit with WESA. So she and I spoke this morning, and she is going to come help teach what it's like to exhibit at WESA, what to consider, what to know all about Dallas, where to unload if you are doing it, anything you need to know about WESA. And we're going to tie in any tips and tricks that Katelyn learned during her wholesale exhibit experience. So if you are a wholesaler, want to learn more, even if you're not planning to exhibit at WESA, you're going to want to tap in and tune into April 30th, just because you'll learn a lot from these two women that are going to join us and teach that. Then we'll be back on May 7th with Katelyn again and myself, and we'll dig even deeper into Google Analytics. And we're also going to talk about keyword research, some tips on doing your keyword research, how to analyze your competitors' keyword research, and then again, digging a little deeper into Google Analytics, how to understand events, how to look at how people are finding you, and a lot more detail is coming on May 7th related to that session. We are super excited that all of our replays are starting to make their way to our YouTube channel. We'd love for you to go over there and check it out, subscribe. As I mentioned, we have a playlist right now for the Instagram growth tips. We also included in that playlist is the Fridays with Faith. And then for those of you that are sharing your amazing products as part of our Wear Cowgirl Shop Show, those replays are also on the YouTube channel. And then today's presentation, we will be placing on the YouTube channel as well. So that's the new home for all the replays and all the trainings that we will be doing going forward. And again, we'll look forward to seeing you on one of our future Cowgirl Biz Power Hours. Those will be hosted live via a Zoom call that's free on Wednesdays at 3:00 p.m. Eastern. So, all right. Any other questions as we wrap up? All right. Well, you know where to find us. Thank you all for joining. Take care.